I would say of my clients, those that fit within the sandwich generation, probably somewhere in the region of 20, maybe 25% of the total number. That is going to change over time, and it's going to increase over time. And the reason I say that is that more and more pressures are coming on families through longevity on the one hand and the inability of the younger generation to move away on the other hand. Well, I think so many things really have changed of late. I mean, once upon a time you got a student grant. Now, of course, you have to pay tuition fees. People who are still in work are in the situation where they've probably had very limited pay rises over the last 2 or 3 years, whereas inflation has been going ahead at much greater rate than the Treasury would have liked it to. On the other side, from the elder parent side, you've got the situation where everybody is living longer. Therefore, health probably will deteriorate at some point, requiring some form of care. And when we're talking about care, the government is probably quite rightly homing in on these costs and is really trying to get every last penny out of the individual before falling back onto the state. So I think when you put all of these things together and other causes as well, it's no wonder that the people in the middle feel like pips in a lemon. I think in most cases, yes, they are. Once you get the conversation going, then sometimes it's quite difficult to get the conversation to stop again. Because if it's one thing that people like to do is talk about their family, but they'll only do that for you if they understand that it's in complete confidentiality. And to get somebody to be as candid as you would need them to be to make sure that you're able to drill down to the real fears that they have, you really do need to spend time building up that relationship, and it certainly doesn't come overnight, and it certainly doesn't come in the first meeting. There's a tremendous amount of change going on in the pensions world at the moment. The Chancellor fairly recently announced that he was going to effectively do away with the need for people to buy annuities in the future. What he didn't do, however, was make it an absolute free-for-all for everybody. A lot of the changes won't come in until April of 2015. When they do, there will be some very difficult choices for people to make. And they will really need to fully understand what they are trying to achieve. And the only way that they can do that is by having a proper conversation with somebody like myself to really drill down into those objectives, both for themselves and the people who are dependent upon them. One which I have found is quite useful is to say to them, exactly how much money do you think you will need by the time you're 90? And that usually provokes the response, well, I'm not going to get to the age of 90, because the vast majority of people seriously underestimate how long they're actually going to live. Unfortunately, the vast majority of people really never consider this situation until they're at or very, very near to their retirement. And at that point, they're suddenly hit with the awful realization of how little they have been able to amass during their working lives and how that is actually going to translate into an income for life for them.